Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange Podcast. Stories by leaders for leaders to help you raise the bar on your own excellence, to release the potential inside of you. Now, here's today's podcast. Welcome back to the Nonprofit Exchange. It's Hugh and Russell. Russell, how are you on this fine day?
Greetings from the Mountain West and welcome everybody to the Nonprofit Exchange, where we're going to talk about the power of collaboration. Now, you folks down in Lynchburg are going to get a chance to have a little bit of fun this weekend attending an event that our guests are putting on.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to them about what they do in real life, but this is amplified life. So Jessica and Sarah, please introduce yourselves to our audiences.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm Jessica Arrington, and I am the Assistant Community Engagement Manager for for Rise Against Hunger here in Lynchburg. And I help with the school feeding and disaster relief programs that we have there. We're helping to feed orphanages and schools around the world, over 80 countries. And we also work with churches, schools, nonprofits. We work with businesses and civic groups to package the meals, and they host meal packaging events, and we have a good time. It's hands-on impact, and I definitely enjoy what I'm doing.
And my name is Sarah Grant, and I'm the founder and director of a very young nonprofit called Community Restoration Initiative. We go by CRI, but usually people who see us online call us CRY, so I have to correct people. We are not CRY, we're CRI. And we provide support systems and mentorship to youth and families in the areas of Lynchburg's 7 hills. There's different neighborhoods in each of Lynchburg's 7 hills. And we serve youth and families who we like to refer to as having indirect access to healthy support systems. So the way that we determine who needs our services, the environments that we create as a means to building support systems and mentorship is we identify youth and families who maybe are surrounded by a lot of friends and family, but the diversity in their support systems and resources is limited. So we have youth mentorship, we have a family environment, and then we have a program for 1st through 5th grade children, and I oversee that.
So give us a little background on who Sarah is.
Sure. Well, I grew up in New Jersey, and I heard about this school named Liberty University that had my major. I couldn't really decide where I wanted to go. And after a less than 48-hour visit to Lynchburg, I had decided that's where I was going to go to school. So I moved here when I was probably 19 and, majored in exercise science, so nothing really related to the field that I'm in. I just happened to go with a group of friends to serve at, I think, a food bank in downtown Lynchburg. And I met all these kids that had grown up exactly the same way that I did and fell in love with their families, and just got connected to a group of amazing young people who wanted to do something for those kids on a week-to-week basis. And one year led to another from 2011 until now. That's really become what my life is centered around, is not just, spending time with youth and kids in need, but really figuring out how we can give them a voice and elevate them to a place where they can address their own needs, and have fallen in love with the very established part of Lynchburg, not necessarily a transient group in Lynchburg, but people who are very established there. I fell in love with them, and that's kind of what my life revolves around now.
So a little more about Jessica.
So I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, but I came to Roanoke, Virginia, hence Roanoke that I said earlier. I was thinking about Roanoke.
Quick plug.
I went to Howland University for undergrad, and I studied communications. And then I was also in the Baton Leadership Institute, where I got my leadership certificate. And then I decided to stay on the staff there, and I was the graduate assistant to the VP of Student Affairs and Housing and Residence Life and the on-call staff. So I got my graduate studies out completed, and I got my master's in Justice and Legal Studies. So as I completed my education in my master's program, I said, okay, what's the next step? What do I want to do? Where do I see myself contributing to the community? And I remember throughout undergrad, I was volunteering with Rise Against Hunger, and I would do the meal packaging events with the chaplain of our university. And I said, okay, they're posted a job, and I said, is this real? Is this reality? Can I work for a place that I volunteered with for so many years? Yes, absolutely. So I applied, and I became the Assistant Community Engagement Program Manager. And our team has definitely, we worked our way up to packaging over 2 million meals just for our location alone. We are only one location out of 35 locations across the US and 6 international locations. So I'm definitely fortunate to be able to work with a huge organization that is global and having global impact and local impact. And you know, my desire, just similar to Sarah, is to advocate for youth and children, to advocate for those who do not or aren't acknowledged as having a voice in society. It's so phenomenal that we also have other programming for Rise Against Hunger, where we have agriculture and farming programming, because the meals that we package isn't going to end hunger alone. It's going to take helping to sustain those communities. So we're helping to educate them on farming. We're helping to help them get access to the farming equipment and any kind of crops that will bring revenue to their community and sustain throughout all conditions of weather is what we're doing. And we've been doing that now for a while, and it's been really making a difference. We give microloans to women in the countries that we work with, and mom and baby nutrition education. Huge, phenomenal program that we work with, because it starts there as well. And it starts in the womb to educate and be able to have nutrition for the baby. And clean water, that's a huge thing as well. Having clean water and water filters, because, you know, oftentimes if you don't have the clean water, how can you make the meals that we're sending? And we definitely want to make sure we're covering all those areas and sanitation.
Well, we had Ray Buchanan on last year as the founder of Stop Hunger Now, which is now Rise Against Hunger. Yeah. And then we had Rod Brooks on. So you're in the section with those people who are in the trenches and leadership for this organization that you serve. And it's I will say that I've known about it for years, but it's a really important program, which is going to end hunger in our lifetime.
Yes.
It's a big deal, Hunter. So the two of you have conspired
We have.
to produce an event called The Power of We. Now, I want to probe on the leadership piece here. Now, out of every 100 people that have a great idea, only 3 people will do anything about it.
Right.
That's real statistics.
It is. Only 3 people will actually do anything, and then 2 of those will not succeed. So, and I've seen pretty large amount of energy coming to this. So, talk a little bit about why you did this, and what was the journey like? How did the 2 of you connect, and what was the journey like? Before we do that, I'm gonna share a screenshot, and you've already seen this, Jessica. Maybe you don't have do you see that?
Oh, yes.
People on the podcast, of course, can't see it, but I'll have it loaded in the text area. This is Ray Buchanan. This is the organization that you serve.
Yes.
I know more about this than I do what Sarah's doing. But this is Ray, who is surrounded by children that you're working with around the world, and you're in so many different countries. So you're working for a very successful nonprofit. So you're in a key leadership position. You and I think it's 140 of you in employment of Rise Against Hunger in the United States all around the country.
Yes. Correct.
And it's a real powerful movement. So you've repositioned your skill set to do something very unique. So talk about how this came about and what it took to make it happen.
Well, for me, I do warehouse logistics in my role, but a big part of my role is community engagement. And I took it and ran with it. I knew there was a huge desire in Lynchburg. It's a growing desire for collaboration. I've been at leadership trainings with you, Hugh. I've been in different conversations and roundtable discussions. I've just had personal conversations one-on-one, and just hearing it over and over, I was like, okay, I'm a doer. I want to make this happen for you guys. I want to make it happen for myself and my organization so that we can be a part of that. And so I said, so I know I can't do that by myself with one. I'm just going to take we. So I said, who are those persons that I wouldn't mind partnering with? And it started out with one of my coworkers, and then she had referred Sarah. And Sarah and I met, and we didn't know each other beforehand. I didn't know about CRI beforehand, and she didn't know about Rise Against Hunger. But by us networking, by us talking, having that first meeting and conversation, she was sold. She said yes. So we were talking about it, and we started having these planning meetings. We started having planning sessions and really digging deep into what are we going to provide through this event, what are the outcomes, what are the goals of the event, and then also really what we want to celebrate what has already been done. We don't want to say, well, what we're doing is better than any other expo or fair that has been done, but we want to be able to add to that success. And so that was important for us as we were sitting down and collaborating and deciding on what to do for this event.
And did you model this after something else you had seen, or did you just think this up from scratch?
Definitely from scratch, because I, especially the trunk case component of the event, I know that we were going to do it outdoors. It was going to be an outdoor venue. And I know that resources are limited in regards to getting tables and having to rent those tables and chairs. So we said, why not do a trunk case? And it's a good way to creatively display the resources of the nonprofits. And the other piece is the rally. I know a lot of times, they say, well, why did you add a rally component to this event? Well, rallying means that you're coming together because you all agree on the same thing and you want to celebrate that. You're empowered by that thing, whatever that is. So I said, well, if we can come together for the spirit of collaboration and celebrate the nonprofits for what they're doing in our community, it is a rally.
So how many different entities do you expect are going to show up?
We have between 30 and 35 different nonprofits who will be there. Mm-hmm. And we have noticed through invitation that there are definitely certain categories of nonprofits that signed up before we could even ask them to sign up. Different categories where we could almost not get a response. Like it was almost like exactly a common theme. Certain ones that just wanted to be there couldn't wait. Certain ones that were hesitant, but they were in as soon as they had information. And then some that we just couldn't even get in touch with. So it was super, super intriguing because it wasn't just one nonprofit to the next, but literally like within sectors of nonprofits. So that was very interesting.
Is Center Vision Leadership Foundation going to be there?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Of course.
another component of our event is that we have a resource area, and we thought of key players and organizations that service our community, whether it's through a roundtable, leadership training, and sign of vision. We also have Patrick Henry Family Services is going to be there because they provide a lot of resources to nonprofits. And then also the Greater Foundation Community for Lynchburg is going to provide resources because they provide a grant application process and scholarship that nonprofits can apply for.
Yay. I guess I better get my stuff together before Saturday, shouldn't I? I usually travel far away to do things like this. It's really nice to have it 10 minutes from home.
Yes.
So Russell, what are you hearing there, Russell? You have some comments or questions brewing in the back of that. So Russell has the perfect, he didn't mess it up with hair.
Yeah. What little bit that's there is on the gray side, but that's okay. And,
Russell, if you come and package meals with us at an event, you won't need a hairnet.
Yeah, I don't like those anyway. And thanks for the work you're doing. By the way, if you get stuck getting things organized, call Leanne. She can help.
Yes. Phenomenal.
And so the work you're doing is really great. Yeah, it's doing something for the first time. It might be a little scary for people, but I think that'll change as people get there.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits that the community's going to get and some of those nonprofits that participate? Because I'm going to assume it's not too late for people to join in if they want to participate.
Yes.
No, it's not. Our deadline for registration is Friday night, midnight. Our deadline to be on the map and be entered in the raffle is Thursday night. But I mean, we're keeping it open until Friday night. But I think I could answer that question in two different ways. One for the Lynchburg general public, and then also for the nonprofits. So I come from both sides, but very heavily from the nonprofit side. And I have just had the most incredible opportunity to always be very tightly connected with other grassroots nonprofits. Like, we lean on each other, we share resources, we pray together, we ask about how we can do events together. Sometimes we connect really well and it's just an obvious match. And sometimes literally as leadership, we just need to say, this is crazy, why are we doing this? Get it all out and then move on with the day. So something we want so badly for nonprofits, for the leadership, for maybe even just the representative who showed up that day and was feeling a little burned out, for them to step into this world or continue in this world of friendship with other nonprofits, and then collaboration from there. I think a lot of times collaboration is going to happen a little bit more easily if you're friends with the leadership in the other nonprofits, or if you just have this mutual enjoyment and admiration of each other. And for the nonprofits, we also want them to know about each other. We want them to know about resources that are available to them that they had no idea about. We want them to be encouraged and to feel valued, and just to get this boost when they leave, like, wow, people wanted to know about us. They wanted to hear more. They didn't want to just receive, like, they wanted to give, and just to get that empowerment, that encouragement. And then for the general public, we do think that everyone who's coming, for the most part, has this awareness of maybe a category of nonprofits, and they're very entrenched in one that just resonates with them, like social justice or animal welfare. So you might tend to just gravitate towards that category of nonprofit. So we want a heightened awareness of the spectrum. Not like I didn't realize, this is crazy, but I didn't realize that shout out to WNRM. that they were a nonprofit. It didn't cross my mind. It didn't cross my mind, just a different category that I hadn't thought about. But people need to know that, because then you know that they need resources and so on and so forth. So we want just to educate on the different categories of nonprofits, and to also be able to have face-to-face conversations with the faces behind the organization, further than social media, further than just showing up as a volunteer one day. We want education, and we want people to know how can you maybe receive resources from them, and how can you give to them as well. Should I add to that?
Yeah, I also think there will be opportunities to have face-to-face conversations about, job opportunities, volunteer opportunities. And then also, it's difficult to have to go to each office around our city. Why not do it right there? Everyone's there. You can just talk to them then. And then also, we have a food truck roundup. Everyone loves a food truck roundup. And
a DJ.
Feed your belly, and have a delicious meal while you're there. And we'll have a DJ with nice music, live music, and we'll have some performances during the rally. And we'll also be giving away items. So, you don't want to miss that. The items that will be given away to the participating nonprofit would be a $500 scholarship if they didn't have to go through a lengthy process of applying for, because I know that's something that I've heard tons of times. And sometimes it's necessary, depending on the grant, it's necessary. You need to apply and put all the financials together and things like that. But for this, celebrating you and what you're doing, we are for it. Just participate, you register, you're in the drawing. We're also giving away, Sign a Vision has a package that we're going to give away, which is awesome. We're giving away also a rebranding package from,
Jacob Hunter Design.
Jacob Hunter Design. And he also designed our logo on the page, as you can see, which is phenomenal to really encompass what Power Week stands for: joining hands, coming together. And then we also have some gift cards to different meeting places, like Lito's Pizza has a great meeting venue. We have Market at Maine. We have, what's some other ones that we have?
White Heart.
The White Heart. So for you to meet with your clients, and it doesn't always have to be in your office space. If you, some nonprofits don't even have an office space. So this would be great to give those things to them and give back.
Well, Power We has a chance to become a movement instead of a one-time thing. You're serving a lot of the same people, and that's where collaboration is really good.
Right.
I've just signed on to an affordable housing task force
awesome.
here in Aurora, because we're dealing with homelessness.
Right.
So we've got more agencies climbing on board. It's remarkable when people get together and do things. So, rally is kind of a military sort of term, rally point. And there's a network for former military called Rally Point. And it's bringing people together to make a huge push. The rally point is where all of the troops get together to make that big push. So an expo and a rally are a little bit different. So this is some outside the box thinking. I'm kind of curious how you decided that combining an expo with a rally would be a way to generate some interest and bring people together.
So as I mentioned before, acknowledging the community fairs and the different expos that we've had before, where we're able to showcase our resources as nonprofits, phenomenal ways to connect and network. And so we divided the time up between 11 to 2 will be the expo, and then at 2:30 we'll do like the welcoming, get started on the Empowerment Hour rally. So it's Empowerment Hour rally instead of just a rally, right? And so we're using this time so that members of our community, also nonprofit leaders, who can speak for 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, on
that's not gonna happen.
I call it an empowerment shot, just a shot of wisdom on why that component or type of nonprofit is important adds value to our community. And where would Lynchburg be without that type of nonprofit? For example, advocacy and social justice. Where would Lynchburg be without that component? And where would we be without food and nutrition nonprofits? Where would we be without sheltered nonprofits, and et cetera? And so being able to hear from those folks and be able to be empowered and know that what you're doing is valuable. It is bringing value to the community. And then giving away those giveaways, and then having a good time with the artists that will present as well.
What are some of the wins that you've experienced as a result of just deciding to do this? I know there's some there.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Some of the wins, I think, I have spent, I guess, a couple months calling nonprofits, inviting them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very personally speaking, but one of the wins for me has been to connect with, I'd say, at least 10 nonprofits that I didn't have a relationship before. One of the overall wins, I think, so far is getting this general buzz or vibe. Oh my goodness, we need this, we want this, let's do this. So I'm guessing come back to us a week from today, and we'll be able to share with you another win that the people who expressed wanting this so badly are going to have this this huge encouragement, and that was good. That's what we needed. And did you want to add on to that? I keep rambling.
Oh no, you're fine. Another one would be that those nonprofits who weren't able to make it, they shared and sent a message and said, "Hey, we can't make it, but we're really excited about this and we support it, and we will share the flyer on our social media pages. We will keep going. We will encourage others to come." So they've been supportive in that way if they can't actually attend the event.
We are broadcasting on Facebook, so I was just looking at people coming by, giving us hearts and that kind of stuff. So go back to Russell's question about combining the expo and the rally.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little more in depth. How's it going to play out during the day, and what is the components of the rally that what's the compelling reason I ought to be there? I know I will, but if I were here the first time, and what's good about each of these, or what's the compelling reason for me to say I want to be there and knock on your door?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, I want to add, or at least mention, that this event is really awesome that we're planning it together, because I am super passionate about the expo and really pumped about it uniquely. And Jessica I call her the eternal optimist. She's super pumped about the rally, and while we're both excited for both parts, it's worked out perfectly that we both are kind of drawn to either parts of it. So I'll give you the plug for the expo, and Jessica can answer that question for the rally.
Well, as you're going there, define what you mean by expo.
Okay, sure. So we have a couple different things in Lynchburg where one of the things is Get Downtown. It's really exciting, where you can walk around and all this different stuff going on, and you can kind of meet different businesses, and they'll give you, they'll have some of their items for sale, or just talk about their business. So we wanted something that was special like that just for nonprofits. So by an expo, we wanted to create for them an opportunity to put on display for the Lynchburg general public that was walking by whatever they wanted Lynchburg to know about them. So as I was making calls, I said, we want your booth, your trunk case, to add value to you. So we want you to put on display whatever best represents who you are and what you want Lynchburg to know about you. So if I could, I don't think I could give you a better definition than what we mean by expo. So I think it's gonna be cool to see the different ways that people interpret that, but pretty much your platform for, you know, face-to-face conversations to display who you are to Lynchburg.
And so the general public can experience your resources on site as well. So for example, Special Olympics, they will showcase one of their sports. So they'll have a basketball booth. And that's a good example. And that draws people to their trunk case.
Oh, sweet. So you talk about the this rally thing now.
Yeah. So the rally component is important because and it's important that I know that at the end of the expo, all the trunk cases will be shut down. And the focus will be totally put on the rally. Everyone will be able to participate. It's not like, oh, there's some people having a conversation over here, people over there. No, it's going to be all attention to this rally. And so when we start the rally, of course, we're going to welcome and then just, you know, start it off, and we have an MC that's going to really kick it off really nice and well and give that energy. And that's important. So we're giving energy to all those who are in attendance at the rally. So once we do that, we'll do the first giveaway, which is awesome. And then we'll go into the first performance. So we'll have someone perform. And then we'll also have some of the speakers start speaking as well. So giving their input on how their component or their category of nonprofit is adding value to our community. You want to hear that. You want to know where would Lynchburg be without the nonprofits that we had. And then we will go into some more performances and then giveaways, and then we'll be able to, it's only 1 hour, so we're not asking you to be there for a long time. It's just 1 hour to empower, inspire, and uplift you to keep doing what you're doing in our community. And it's free. That's why you should come. We're not asking you to pay anything to be empowered or inspired. And a lot of times, you know, people need that. You need to be motivated. You need to be refreshed. Come and get a refresh. You're working so hard.
Yeah. You said performances. Go into that a little more.
So we have some artists who are going to be presenting. We have McKinley. He's going to, Cartwell. He is a singer, performer in Lynchburg and surrounding areas in Amherst. And he's done several events in our community, and he gives back in that way, as well as they, you know, pour into him for his services. And then we also have
Ashley Johnson.
So Ashley Johnson, she's a musical artist
in Lynchburg.
Mm-hmm. And so we're also supporting local artists in their craft. So that's pretty cool too.
I think, Russell, we need to point out this is Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yeah, that's important.
Well, yeah, I love what you're doing. I would love to see some Facebook Live or some.
Yes.
I'd also love to see some people who have benefited from the work that a lot of these organizations are doing, raving fans, to interview them and to have them talk about their experiences with your organizations. That would be phenomenal.
Definitely.
Now, when you started announcing this, did everybody jump on board right away, or were there people who were saying, nah, I'm too busy? I mentioned you had a variety of responses.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah, so we had, yes, tell me where to sign. We even had some people kind of push back a little and say, well, how is this different from this event or that event? We had people say, actually the 10 miler is the same day. So we had some people say, well, we can't be there because of the 10 miler and the Virginia 10 miler. So we had the whole spectrum of responses. Absolutely, yeah.
I'm running the race, then I'm coming.
Yes, and we appreciate you for that.
It's pretty awesome. We'll have some food trucks waiting.
Yes.
Yeah, I told Russell that's my anniversary date with my wife. We're running the 4 miles.
That's awesome.
And what better thing to do on your anniversary, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I have to agree with you.
So then we're going to come spend the day with you guys.
Wow.
And you're having different kind of presentations during the day, are you?
Yes.
What are some of those?
Day? Oh, you mean the expo?
Yeah, so well, the expo is set up so that Lynchburg community comes and they go from one booth to the next, connecting, and then so there's music playing, food trucks, and then you just walk from booth to booth. So the only time that there'll be presentations is when we transition into the rally, and that the presentations will run through the course of the rally from 2:30 to 3:30.
That way we don't take away from those conversations that can happen face to face.
Okay. And what does Center Vision bring to the table? Because we represent collaborative thinking, as you know, from the symposium. Jessica attended the Lynchburg symposium. Russell's taught at a couple of them.
Yes.
But we had the founder of Rise Against Hunger was one of the presenters there, Ray Buchanan.
Yes.
But so you sort of know what's behind the work that we do to empower the work of nonprofits. So what are you perceiving that we bring to the table on Saturday?
Well, I definitely want to take this moment to thank Sign of Vision, because
Yes, thank you.
not only was that workshop the moment that I had the aha, we should do this. I also
Say that again. I want people to hear it.
You're gonna let that one slip by.
Yeah. So you led some small group discussions at the training where we were able to talk with each other as nonprofit leaders. And one of the things that came up was the desire to collaborate. And we were talking and we were sharing ideas and, saying we wanted to do, but then we didn't leave feeling like we were going to actually do anything. We didn't have action items set in place. But it was very encouraging, very motivating for me, because I was like, aha, we should do this. And so that's how this started, was from that workshop. So I really appreciate that opportunity, that platform.
Stirring things up. That's what I do. Stir things up. Great.
And then and the reason why we invited Sign of Vision to come to the resource area is because we don't want any nonprofit not to know about these opportunities to grow as leaders of nonprofits. And so we want to have you there for that purpose as well.
Great. We're going to be giving away a program as part of your door prize, but we're going to offer people a chance to sign up for a free leadership program as well, in addition to that.
I think that'd be great.
So,
yeah, we have a lot of nonprofits that are coming that have one or two people on staff that are new, that are just starting up. So we're really excited to connect them with you.
Definitely.
I think they will thrive from the training that's going to be available to them that they may, but I think probably more likely may not have known about, just because they're in this sink or swim mode.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we ought to think of some follow-up discussions after this day, Jessica, that I'd be happy to facilitate with you. What did people discover? Now, you got an idea at my symposium. One of the breakouts during lunch, Russell, was on collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the mayor was there, and Bishop Younger was there, and the president of the symphony was there, and Jessica was there. So we had a very large group stay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We must have had 30 of the attendees come to that breakout session. So we went and got lunch, and we came back, and we just had an informal discussion. And there were several collaborations that happened there. One of which was the Ramp Church. Bishop Younger represents the Ramp Church. They made arrangements to sing with the symphony.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Now, little did I know at that moment that I would be the conductor.
Excellent. Oh, wow.
I was cheering them on, and then later on, they asked, "Oh, why don't you direct that concert?" And I said,
There you are.
What do you
You
not
got-
do?
so amazing things happened in that day.
Yes.
And what I perceive myself to be as a catalyst for people to begin to think differently and that's what you guys are doing. You're putting together an opportunity for people to get out of their rut and to think differently. So I'm gonna kick it back to Russell. He's been taking this in, and I'm sure we'll have some good comments and maybe some more questions for you.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, my new title I've taken on this year is possibility engineer. So there's a lot more possible. The more people that you have, more hands makes the work lighter.
Right.
And it's about focusing on possibilities instead of the challenges. And you can do that when you come together.
Right.
And so it's all about having great outcomes for the organization, great outcomes for everybody. What is the big outcome that you'd like to see take place as a result of doing this event? What's the big impact that you want to make on the community, and how will that affect the way things go moving forward?
Well, I definitely think when I said previously about being able to refresh the leader and retool the leader, so that's important because if they don't get that chance to do that, then they get burned out. And we know how oftentimes nonprofit leaders are doing 5 different roles in one, position, and they can burn out easily. And so I think this is the most important thing I want to come out of this, is that they feel celebrated, they feel empowered, and they feel like they're adding value to our community. And then also the general public see the value that the nonprofits are bringing to our community. That's important. And another long-term outcome that we're collaborating with other individuals and leaders in our community to put together and finalize an online directory of the resources in Lynchburg. And so that's important because we all have different packets and lists that we all use from different places, and they're valuable. But we need one place for all of those resources so that anybody, if I'm coming into town and for the first time and I don't have a lot of items and I need a place to stay, I need to look on my smartphone or be able to know what number to call to know where I can stay for the night or get certain resources and easily access it. So that's what we long-term would like to do as well.
Well, that's it, yeah, because everything is there. It's kind of fragmented. And so a lot of the movement that we've got going here is moving toward being able to have those conversations. But we've got to get in the room together. Yeah. And we can do a whole lot more together than we can alone. So that is tremendous. That's huge. And I know you'd like to see that grow further. So power of Lynchburg. Do you see that as being more of a movement than an event?
I definitely think that Power of We is an initiative because it definitely embodies how the spirit of collaboration is alive and well in Lynchburg. But as I've been talking with other people who like our Facebook page that aren't in Lynchburg, they may be in Baltimore, they may be in Roanoke or other cities. They're like, well, this is something that we need as well. And so I definitely think it can be replicated in other cities. And I would love to help those individuals who want to take the lead on that. And we want to help them, train them, give them the tools that they need to do the same thing in their area.
Yeah. I think a paradigm shift sometimes just requires like a tool, not just you wake up one day and think differently, but requires tools or opportunities for that. And so something tangible.
That would be good. I know you're going to learn a lot and find out a lot. And those people who are involved are probably going to be gushing over when you go to look at how it all went, and more ideas will come out of it. More, there'll be more people to listen to. So I'm pretty excited, and it sounds very good for what we're doing in Aurora just around homelessness. You're probably on to something. So that's something I want to share with the task force here. maybe we can put something similar together. We'll find out what you learn. I'll be watching with great interest.
Yes, feel free to have our notes.
Definitely.
For those people who are watching us on Facebook, we have a little poster here. I gotta take this down, and I wanted to see. There's a long link for your website, Jessica. So I've got that on the page. So people go to the nonprofitexchange.org. They'll find that page. And right now I'm having the picture of your flyer on here, The Power of We, really powerful logo there.
Yeah, thank you.
So what challenges, we're going to have a sponsor presentation, and we're going to give you the last chance to offer some, I think we'd like you to offer some encouragement for people who got an idea brewing, but they're afraid to step out because they might fail. And I've seen you just forge ahead with this and not worry about failure. You're just going to do it. And that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
And so before I go to the sponsor mention, talk about what were some of the leadership challenges that y'all had to raise the bar on for yourselves to pull this off?
That's a great question.
For me, I would say balance of time. And I think Sarah agrees as well. Not only were we planning for this event and for this initiative, but we also had to make sure we were doing our roles and responsibilities with our nonprofit. So we had to balance our time accordingly and plan ahead. And that was crucial to keeping our commitment to each other and also to our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will jump into brand new things, like with my flag flying in the air. And yet I am mortified of failure every single time, every time. I'm afraid of being in the middle of a parking lot with nonprofits saying, where are the people? Or people saying, where are the nonprofits? Or food trucks saying, where are the people? Like, these kind of things could keep me awake at night from the day that we decided to do this. So it's definitely been it's always an obstacle for me to overcome this fear of failure and just say, well, can I measure what failure is? No, I can't quite measure what I'm thinking of as failure. So I'm going to decide what success is and just keep moving forward with planning. And so every single time I come to a big event, it's like this wonderful and terrible opportunity to face this, fear of failing over and over again until I start to become a little bit more laid back.
And I think another thing that we did that was really crucial, I believe, in the planning process and accepting failure is allowing key people in our community into our think tank, into our planning sessions, who have done things that are similar to this event and can add wisdom and add some critique. And also in that same vein, accept that critique and criticism and not take it as something personal, but take it as something valuable that will add to our planning. And so, we had to shift some things as we went along, and that's okay. Even if our initial idea isn't the same as how it started, but that's okay. We have enlarged it, we have increased things, we have changed things and shift gears to make sure it's adding the value that we want to our community. So I think that's important, to not be afraid of change along the way, especially when you're in the initial stages. And then also, we've already set our evaluation meeting for after the event to figure out how many of our goals have been met and achieved. And like you were saying, figure out what were the testimonies, what were the outcomes, and how do you want to go forward for next year? Because it's definitely something that we want to see happen annually. We don't want to just do a one shot and done type event. We want to make sure this is something that'll keep going.
Well, I think Russell and I would both tell you that one of the great strengths of leadership is the the power to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely.
your people and the power to be flexible. And I don't think it's not power as much as it is the wisdom.
Yes.
The wisdom of leadership, because we get, I'm guilty, maybe other people are too, but I get stuck in the rut. Here is where I'm going, and nothing's going to get in my way. Well, it's okay to have the dedication like you did, and the vision like you did. However, if it's not working like you want it, then let's change it.
Right, exactly.
So the power of we. Now we're going to talk about our sponsor a minute, and then when I kick it back to you, talk about what is it that is driving you, and how can you encourage other people to take their dream and put it into reality. And then we'll let Russell close us out for this section. We've got about 7 minutes left, but our sponsor for this one is United Methodist Cyber Campus, unccybercampus.org. It's an online learning for Christian leadership development. And if you see down here the supporting organizations, you see Center Vision there. This is your portal for learning. You get courses and degrees, there's video learning. There's all kinds of virtual learning experiences, and it's not just for Methodist clergy. So it's online learning for Christian leadership development. So it's specifically in that niche. So UMC Cyber Campus has been one of the sponsors of Center Vision, the magazine specifically. We are able to provide podcasts and the magazine to our members because we have sponsors like UMC Cyber, CYBER Campus. So Center Vision is a partner with them. They're a sponsor of what we do, and we promote their activity because it's really forward thinking that Christian leaders need today. So as you're leaving us with a thought, the power of we is a powerful event because we have powerful leaders. So what thoughts would you like to leave people with, Jessica and Sarah?
I would say we definitely want, well, our desire for Power of We Lynchburg event is for you all to feel connected, to feel inspired, empowered, and to know the nonprofit organizations and resources within our community. We want to be able to continue this initiative, and we want to make it stronger. And we value your input and feedback. So please let us know what you think afterwards.
And to add to that, the encouragement for someone that has an idea and may not be as much of may think more along the lines of my husband, who kind of pokes holes in things and kind of sees the risk versus me, who can't ever seem to see those things ahead of time. Whether you're one side or the other, anywhere in between, I just can't think of a better way to learn and to grow in the field that you're in and in what you're passionate about than to surround yourself with people who have more wisdom than you, and then to do. I've never found in my many years on this earth a better way to grow than to act. Yeah. And with that wisdom to change and to ask people for their advice and to listen to it. But the acting upon an idea is where you solidify things that you otherwise are just hearing about, solidify them as tools that you have at your disposal. Mm-hmm. Powerful. It's powerful to act.
And that's why our purpose is unity and usefulness. This event is for the purpose of unity and usefulness. Let's come together and let's make this event useful to whatever your needs are, whatever your desires are. So,
yeah.
Well, that's it. It's really good. It's this power of collaboration. We can do together what none of us can do alone.
Yeah.
The power of we needs to be a movement in your mind, not just something that's a one-off, but we start somewhere.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power when it's applied. It takes up space when it's just there, but when it's applied, it's power and it's powerful, and we can do a lot more together. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this and seeing how what you're doing can blaze a trail for nonprofits everywhere. Like I said, I'm a possibility engineer, and there's always more ways to do things.
Yeah.
And so there are people that are sitting in this audience who may be watching this. If something just sort of sounds crazy that's in your head, write it down and share it with somebody.
Yes.
And don't get discouraged if somebody tells you 8,000 reasons for why you can't do it.
Right.
Just go talk to some more people.
Yeah. Agreed.
And if you're the smartest person in the room, run like the devil and find another room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, thank you very much for coming. It's been a real pleasure to get to meet you and get to know you. And I hope to spend some time with you in the future. He will be there Saturday. I'll be there in spirit.
Thank you.
And because I just believe that the work that we're doing here should be supported, and we support one another, and there's strength in numbers. And so for Hugh here at the Nonprofit Exchange, we're here. Check out the website. You'll find this available. Don't listen to it just once. Listen to it again and again and again, and continue to feed yourself all of that encouragement. And visit the Center Vision website leadership area. We have material that'll be in there for discussion. We'll have courses. Visit the UMC Cyber Campus, because as we continue to learn and continue to do and continue to learn, we continue to grow and increase our impact everywhere that we are.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, ladies. I sort of sniff in the air there might be Power of We Denver in the future.
This Power of We thing's going to be everywhere, Hugh. I think you better get used to it.
Get ready for that. Thank y'all for a really good session from the Nonprofit Exchange. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.